Hello. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Switch 2 Day to those of you that were lucky enough to get one. I'm not gonna break into your house tonight. I'm too tired. Despite wearing the Zelda shirt. Pre-orders unsuccessful. My Nintendo lottery still waiting. And I've been too exhausted this week. I did consider at Meijer. They kept advertising the Switch 2 and I went grocery shopping late last night. I did consider, I'm like, what if I just sat down in the aisle right here for like the next several hours? What could they do? What could they do? But then I was like, I'm gonna pass out any second now. I need to go home. So I was tempted to switch it up and try to be like, why not? And just camp out at Meijer, but alas, I did not. But I am my last shot for if I want to switch like soon on launch month. My last attempt, other than waiting on Nintendo, is going to be, I think Target's opening their online stuff up. They said June 6th in the morning. I don't know if that means right at midnight. I don't know if that's midnight Eastern time locally, or if it's whenever the first intern gets up for the day and just hits the button anytime between now and the next like 12 hours even. So I have no idea when that will be. I'll keep an eye on it for like the next few hours. I'm gonna try to beat Deltarune Chapter 3 tonight. I started that last night and I almost cried because of how good Deltarune is. I've heard Chapter 3 is just like the most chill and I've been really enjoying it so far. And I've heard Chapter 4 is where the emotional punch is, which, seeing as I almost burst out in tears just opening Chapter 3, I'm excited to be hurt with Chapter 4. But yeah, that's what I've been up to. So I will be up tonight anyway, so I'm gonna try to stay up until, I guess 2 a.m. for me would be like midnight California time, just in case. And yeah, otherwise, I would say I'd try to set an alarm for a certain time in the morning, but I need to catch up on sleep. So I'm just gonna stay up maybe until like 2 or 3 a.m. See if anything happens to go live on Target, and if not, we're gonna get a Switch 2 eventually. I have the money set aside for whenever Nintendo sends me the invite email and lets me know. I don't know if that'll be this month or if it will be Christmas time. I do not know, but whenever we get that, we'll play Mario Kart. We'll resume our Tears of... Next time I wear this shirt on stream, actually, we'll be playing Tears of the Kingdom again, and it will be on the Switch too. Like, I honestly, now that it's out and people are playing it with like the enhanced... It's not a huge enhancement, but it just looks so much like smoother, like buttery smooth on the Switch too, that I'm like, yeah, I kind of don't want to pick it up again until I get a Switch 2. Especially with the companion app, since I'll be upgrading my expansion pack anyway to get that for the GameCube stuff. So I won't have to pay to upgrade it, and I'll have like access to the phone tracker, the official one for Nintendo. So I'm like, we'll 100% it, or maybe even redefine what 100% is, because we're getting close. We just have Korok seeds and a few mines. But I think we're getting fairly close to location 100%. So if we wanted to just 100% the map and then call it after that, we could. And cut kind of doing the whole Hyrule Compendium thing. When I first started and said we're gonna 100% Tears of the Kingdom, map 100% was my main goal. Was to blow up and act like I don't know nobody, but yeah, map 100% was the main idea, with me also wanting to be like, oh, I want to fully upgrade a horse, and I want to like have all the armor and then do this and do that and blah 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 blah. We will reevaluate that whenever we resume that playthrough. Hopefully it's sooner rather than later, because I do want to play the new Hyrule Warriors this year also when that drops. And I want to get both of those out of the way before the end of the year, because I want to open us up to doing the Zelda timeline playthrough as early as the start of 2026. But I don't want to start a timeline playthrough until we play the existing Zelda playthroughs and get them finished up and off our plate, so we don't get confused. But yeah, that is my plan with the Switch 2. In the meantime, we have a lot of life sim updates to play. We're finishing Fantasy Life, we're resuming our game dev streams, and we are of course still playing Elden Ring, so we are not going to run out of things to do, especially I'll be on vacation in 2 weeks from now, and then the first 2 weekends of July I'll probably be out with various family things, so yeah, we'll have some gaps in our weekend streams. Weekly streams should be mostly unaffected, but our weekend streams will be a bit affected during these next couple months anyway, so I don't really want to start a big long playthrough yet. If I get one by like the end of July, I would like to play that new Donkey Kong game though. I would like to, if we were to get it around the time that released, I would absolutely play that. Whatever long playthrough we do on the Switch 2 first kind of depends whenever we get it and whatever is hot. Tekken 8 and people keep calling Clive a dummy mommy. Have you seen the yeehaws on that man? Bro is the Markiplier of the Final Fantasy universe. Which is even funnier, because if you were to tell Clive that, he wouldn't understand what the hell you're talking about. You're like, huh? I need to I think I'm gonna replay 16 on my own this summer. I've been getting the Final Fantasy itch, and I want to replay all of the 7 games again at some point before part 3 comes out. I think before I do that, I want to revisit 16. I think it's a game that I'm only going to feel even better about over time, and I liked it on release. It was pretty impactful for me, actually. It left quite the mark on my soul, but that was a very special playthrough to me. So I think I'll have a permanent attachment to it, kind of similarly to my feelings on 10's kind of well renowned. If you say 10's the best Final Fantasy game, you're not going to have a lot of people that argue with you there. It's one of the GOATs, and that is my all-time favorite. But sometimes when you say like 15's another favorite of mine, people will raise an eyebrow, but I think people are starting to see the action Final Fantasies in a bit of a better light as time goes on. Or at least that it's the same with Zelda games. It's the same thing with Final Fantasy games. Whatever the newest game in a franchise is, will be like critically received really great the first like month, and then month 2 will roll around and people will be like, actually, has enough time passed to say this actually ruined my life and this game is F tier? And like people will hate on it and call it overrated until a new franchise title is announced, and then people will be like, actually this other game was really good and the new one that was announced is really bad and the developer should never make a game again. Like, it's happened with the open world Zeldas. Everyone complained, and then when Echoes of Wisdom came out, why weren't people hyping that up? Hello? And then the second 16 was announced, suddenly I've been a Final Fantasy 15 defender since day one. It's not back there on my shelf, it's on the other shelf. I have the day one edition. People will be like, oh, the Windows version is good, or oh, if you got the DLC, or oh, if you read the book. I've done all of those. They're all extra great and enhance the experience. But I've loved 15 since day one. And I will also say, would I have rather had Versus 13? Absolutely. I loved that game. I was so excited for when it was Versus 13. But I can still appreciate Final Fantasy 15. So yeah, I knew as soon as 16 was announced, suddenly all these fans of 15 emerged out of nowhere. And I'm like, where were you during the war? Where were you? So I have no doubt whenever 17 gets announced one day, you're gonna see so many people calling 16 the greatest Final Fantasy to ever be made. Mark my words. They're gonna be like, it was ahead of its time. We actually need another game like this. I hate Final Fantasy 17. You're gonna see that in so many YouTube videos. I need y'all to brace yourself for that. Whatever the next Zelda is gonna be, because they said it's not going to be Breath of the Wild, but I don't think it will be like the traditional 3D adventure games either. I think it will be something different again. So you're going to see a lot of new Zelda fans and old Zelda fans angry about whatever the next brand new Zelda will be. Mark my words. And they're going to go back to they're going to stop calling Tears of the Kingdom overrated, and they're going to call it the greatest game ever made. You're going to see the switch up on YouTube. That's just the science. Yeah, Last of Us 2 as well. I liked Last of Us 2 on release. It was very controversial, but as a designer, it's like, if the intent was to make a story that made you uncomfortable and the gameplay made you like angry with how it was going, but that was the design intent, I can't say it was a bad game. They had a vision they wanted to hit, a specific nerve they wanted to hit with you, and they achieved that. They very clearly achieved that. That being said, I still need to watch season 2 of the show. I loved season 1 of the show, and I do like the game. I love the games a lot. What I've seen of season 2 and what I've heard has been disappointing, and I was really excited for it because I think all the actors are capable, but I am starting to question the directing of it a bit. I won't completely write it off. It could bounce back, but it seems like a misunderstanding of what the characters were about. Like, they were too afraid to upset the fans again, when that was the whole point, right? Also, did you know, this is my cousin, y'all. Did you know our aunties are, are watching Last of Us? Like, ask them about it this weekend. Ask them what they thought of it. Cause yeah, my partner and I were we were getting dinner after the movies with them. They were like, we've been watching, what's it called, Last of Us? And immediately we both tense up and we're like, oh. We're like, oh, you, what do you think? What do you think? I think they are in the season 2 though. They watched the full first season. They're in the season 2, so I gotta see if they finished it. I didn't spoil anything for them, but I was like, season 2 will end on a cliffhanger. I'm pretty confident where it's going to end. So, and HBO takes like 2 to 3 years to film anything. So I'm like, I need y'all to be prepared for that. I'm like, but that's all I can say. There's really nothing more I can say. Oh, yo, they better cut that boat scene, man. Don't put my aunties through that. Neil Druckmann, do my aunties. My aunties, man, don't do that to them. Actually, I've seen what they've put on at Christmas. They've put on worse. They'll be fun. They'll be fun. Love you guys. If you're watching, I love you. I love you. Anyway, I've been yapping for 20 minutes. So the next hour of this, at 10 I want to do a quick workout and then take a shower so I can settle in, get all cozy, and play Deltarune for the rest of the night. So we're gonna spend an hour. We are hopping back into this. We took a quick break, a couple weeks off of the game dev streams because I've had a lot of work at work. And then I've also been playing a lot of Fantasy Life, and I was very excited for that coming out. So we played a lot of that. But for those newer to this, I am a professional level designer. That is my career. I even like took a look at my portfolio and stuff the other day. I've been professionally in the industry for over 4 years now, and I've been working with Unreal Engine in general for like 5 to 6 years. You couldn't tell from this map. You couldn't tell from this map because this is kind of my sandboxy area to just be a goober, but I am a level designer primarily, which is why the art is just kind of kit bashed because that's not really my department. But I do want to learn a few more features of what makes I've primarily worked with Unreal 4 a lot. 5 is something I've started using the past like couple years, I would say. It is still fairly new, so that's not surprising, but I do want to spend like these kind of sandboxy streams looking at new features and ways I can contribute to level design with like kind of secondary skills. So learning a bit more of the scripting stuff, learning a bit more of the artsy stuff one step at a time. But these maps, if you are a 3DS fanatic, this may look familiar to you. It is an arena from Kid Icarus Uprising that we are remaking in Unreal Engine 5. We're actually, right now, I'm planning on remaking Kid Icarus maps as like our sandbox stuff until Nintendo puts something Kid Icarus related on the Switch. Now the Switch 2. I really thought they would announce something at the Switch 2, like, games announcement thing. But they didn't. They didn't. I thought the mouse was, like, a surefire way to be like, we're absolutely getting Kid Icarus. And we still... It probably has, like, another, like, 6 to maybe even a full decade of support after it. Best case scenario. So we still could see Kid Icarus on the Switch 2. But yeah, my current plan is to just keep remaking arenas until they do that. So we might remake the game, but this is for educational purposes. If you're like, when can I play this? When can I wishlist it? I'm not doing any of that. I'm not monetizing that stuff. I just am making these kind of locally on my machine to study them and to break down the level design, and arena design is kind of like my bread and butter. In like half of my portfolio, both personal and professional, so yeah, I like to kind of take existing ones that fascinated me as a kid and ask myself why. Why did I like them? So for instance, this is like the Forgotten City one that we kind of started to clean up a little bit, add some little debris pieces. I added a lot more flowers. There's not really a lot of flowers present in the game. But I'm like, if you were to remake it in Unreal Engine 5, like, this little sprite here would be a full foliage bush. And then I kind of went crazy with the idea. But it's so... that map's so pretty now. Like, it actually... it's... and I like it in my mind, because I'm like, oh, well, the 3DS one was truly destroyed, but now it's, like, blossoming and it's recovering because it's been 12,000 years since the game came out. But yeah, this is what the work on the Spiral Tower map, this is how it looked over in the 3DS. Shout out to Cup Drinker, you can check him out on YouTube. He's also playing Elden Ring, and often titles his streams about how much better he is at it. Which is true. But he was able to grab these screenshots off of his 3DS, because I still haven't gotten around to putting a capture card on mine. Maybe this year's the year. I did finally get a new phone, so that's taken care of. So I was gonna get 3DS stuff, but now I'm on like hold for the Switch too. Soon I'll do it. Any day now. But yeah, like even this, the jump from the landscape and block out pass to the art pass one here, it looks like it's not that far along, but then when you look at like the progress made over each week, I just like to be transparent about that progress also. Like, if you want your map to look like, picture better lighting and even more like details and arting. That's hopefully what we'll get to. Maybe by the end of the year we can do a more detailed art pass on everything. But yeah, if you want to get to a finished product like that, or even wanting to get to the art stage here, you kind of have to go through these things of iteration here. Because the important thing, you'll see this in Unreal, like, will showcase things for art assets, because that's an artist's job, is to make it look pretty. But as a game designer, you also have to make it playable. So, you have to have all the pretty clutter out of the way and work with it basic and ugly first, if you want to get to that. Not to brag or anything, but she's right. I am far better. Yeah. That's true. I can't argue that's true. I have been playing a lot of Elden Ring. I think I'm level 64 right now. I want to try to get to 70 before our next stream. At the end of the month when we resume that playthrough. So yeah, I want to try to get to 70. I've killed like a dozen mini bosses though. So I'm fear that for like not huge spoiler and like story stuff, I feel like I'm gonna run out of stuff to do, but also then I tell myself, oh, this is Elden Ring, I'm not gonna run out of ways to make XP. I just maybe have to start venturing out a little farther from Limgrave, or just be more dedicated to, okay, I'm just gonna stay here in this spot and level grind for the next like hour or so, and I like get too scatterbrained. I'm like, I don't want to be in the same spot. I want to move. I want to kill more things. But there are good places to level grind if I just like sit still. Yeah, I want to be. My goal is to try to be like well over level 100 by the charity stream would be nice. If not, by like the end of the year. So yeah, I think for like we're around the halfway point of the game, so being like over level 60 is probably good. But I still want to be I want to be a little bit stronger on the level side. I did all of my weapons. I did swap out to a new. I swapped out from a rapier to a katana. Now on. Hi Artie, come here. He woke up and didn't. If he wakes up and he doesn't see my partner and I, because he's sleeping and facing the wall, he'll scream. Come here, sir. But I did swap out to a fancier, not like the first weapon I picked up off the ground. So I did swap out to a fancier weapon. I have an even better version of it that I'm not, it needs intelligence to wield, so I'm not smart enough yet. But I have it in my inventory in case I ever get smart enough. And then I still have the glowstone pebble on the partisan. I think I'm gonna keep that throughout the rest of the game. The spear's just goated, honestly. So I have both of those around plus 11. Moonveil? I think that's it. I haven't poured all my smithing stones, so that's the one I haven't upgraded yet, but I do have in my like back pocket. Because I'm like, I want to make sure, like, if we ever swap out the left weapon again, because it did take me, like, we probably would be well over level 70 right now if I spent my runes on just leveling, but it did take me a while to find all the bell bearings and then buy all of the smithing stones and spend the extra runes to level that base katana back up. But the blood loss damage I really like. I really like the blood loss. I just spit on the mic. So I was able, there's one dragon that I think you can only kill with blood loss. I found that one and I felt bad killing it, but it gave a ton of XP, so Dex and int. Yeah, that's my thing, is I'm like, I feel like I need to choose if I am gonna pour into, like, because I'm focused on Dex and strength really right now. So if I am going to pour into another option quite heavily, I'm like, it's got to be between int and faith, so I got to make that decision now. But I think intelligence is what I want to do, because I have a staff as well for casting. Though the faith stuff seems really, really cool. Like, they're very flashy, but I just don't think it works for my build right now. Maybe if I ever pick up the game again and have a second character, I think a faith build would definitely be something of interest to me, but I'd want to do that from the start. But yeah, if Moonveil is a good weapon, especially for like my build specifically, then I can start focusing on intelligence a little bit more. It won't be ready by next stream, but I can think about it a little bit more. Moonveil is crazy. Good to know, good to know. Well, I will keep that in mind. I am still glad I fully leveled up like the regular katana, because I want to make sure I do gel with that as like my left one weapon. But yeah, if that's working well, and if you're, I trust you, man. If you tell me Moonveil's crazy, say less, say less. Oh yeah, we do have the ability to respec. That is true. Here's my gamer sin though. I know wanna. Damn! I'm glad they're climbing the tower. I'm glad the AI is using the tower, but damn! I'll be like, oh yeah, I want to pour more points into this, and then it will be like, you have to take points away from something, and I'm like, oh no. So I don't know if I can fully commit to min-maxing, just because I don't want to take stuff away from any other categories. And it will encourage me to fully level up more, right? Damn, I'm not. I've already playtested a lot of stuff today. I think my brain is too fried to playtest this map, but y'all get it. Y'all get it. I do have a Lyra melee tutorial pulled up, and then I do have some melee VFX that I added to the project, so it depends if I get any free time over the next week. Hopefully so. Fingers crossed. I would like to get some free time over the next week. But next week's game dev stream will, if I have the time to research it ahead of time, I would like to dabble in the melee stuff, either setting up the effects or following a melee tutorial. But if not, then it could just be like a decal pass on an existing map or a Vista pass on an existing map. And then when I'm back from vacation, I want to do a few Blender tutorials is what I'm hoping. Maybe to like start one week and then to go over the progress the following week. But we'll see. We'll see. Right now we're taking it slow and getting back into the project. So what are we doing today? Half an hour into the stream. I have a YouTube tutorial pulled up. It's like 10 minutes long, which means it'll probably take us an hour to get through. Yeah, I have a tutorial on how to animate and create almost semi-cloth physics in Unreal 5 using the modeling tool, which I used a bit in my first professional Unreal 5 project, because I think it was most of my coworkers at the time, everyone's like first Unreal 5 projects, so we were all like checking out the new tools and stuff, but I don't remember too much of that. I ended up doing mostly sequence work on that one. But yeah, what we want to do is, so you can say most of this structural art pass-wise has been done. It still needs a lot of polish, a lot of lighting, a nice post-process volume over it, and some more foliage and debris, but the structural integrity of the art pass is mostly complete. Except for this grating little voice here. This is supposed to be a lovely flag. Even on the 3DS you can tell, yeah, this lovely flag slapping in the wind. Nothing special, but there to mark like kind of like a capture the tower vibe. We've just got a square hovering in the air right now. Also this like wooden pole is just a mop. It's just a mop. But yeah, we want to turn this into something with some physics, and we are going to place a wind actor into the scene so that it kind of floats around. So we do have this red cloth material that I downloaded from another asset pack. However, I got a better idea. What do y'all think about what do y'all think about putting this sir himself on the flag? I'm hearing a resounding yes, so we're gonna do it. Oh, what's he look like on the cylinder? Oh, that is beautiful. This is honestly the best thing about just messing around in that engine. Like, I feel like this is the best way to learn, is let yourself do stupid things in Unreal Engine, like in your own file. Don't worry about, oh my gosh, if anyone sees this, they're gonna say I'm so unorganized, or oh my gosh, I don't want to start something I can't like finish, like I don't want to feel lazy looking at my own personal work. Let yourself do stupid stuff so that you can learn from it. Right? So we're going, you know what's fun? Slapping a cat picture onto a material. I cranked the saturation up as well so he would be very visible. Let's see what this looks like just on its own. That's quite lovely. That's quite lovely. Oh, I didn't mean to zoom in. You can identify that's a man's, right? So we need to take this and we need to make it float around in the wind now. So let's start off with this tutorial here. I've got it like pulled up on the side. So it has us going into the modeling mode first. So what sublevel am I in? Yeah, sure, we'll do it in blockout. In fact, let's do it just kind of over here on the cube. No distractions, no distractions. So we are going to create a box, I think. Actually, I think we might want to create a triangle. Do we want a square? I kind of want a square flag. So I'm gonna do this. Or wait, we need a plane. We need a plane, not a cube. We've already messed up the tutorial. This is why it takes forever. So we get a rectangle. Turn down the camera speed a bit. Right, so in this tutorial they make a triangle flag, which is more aesthetically pleasing, but I do want to keep it to the square flag. I guess maybe I'd want to make it a little... Yeah, change the depth of it a bit. Ratio like that. The cross nagging. Maybe? I've killed so many things I don't... Or wait, that's a spear. Have I found that? I feel like I would have remembered finding a new spear. I might have, but I'm gonna say currently maybe not, or maybe I haven't realized that I have it. Cause yeah, I've been keeping an eye out for any better spears or like light, quick melee swords. Melee swords, all swords are melee. Like light and quick, like kind of short swords. Alongside spheres, because those are kind of the weapons I want to use. A dex sphere. Ooh. That would be good for us. That would be good for us. Yeah, I feel like I haven't found it. Next time I boot up Elden Ring, I'll let you know. I would say I'd boot it up tonight, but as soon as I'm back in bed, I'm booting up Undertale. Or not Undertale, Deltarune. I'm back in the building again! Okay, so now what we're doing in this tutorial is we're going to add some wear and tear to it, I believe. So we put the cube in here and we go to deform. Oh but yeah, accept the box. We accept the box. Looks like this place is what— ooh yeah, look at that. So we hit displace on the box. If you've used something like Maya or Blender, then these are basically the baby versions of like those more complex modeling tools, which is fine because Maya gives me trauma. But I do want to learn Blender. So that's something I'm hoping to do with our game dev chill streams. But yeah, we have this crunchy looking box now. And you could make it crunchier if wanted. I like the crunch on it. And now we're going to stretch it out, it looks like. and line it up along the edges. So I think what we're probably gonna do is similar to using, I think it actually is booleans in here. But booleans are when you like either add two separate things together, or you can like subtract them from each other, or you can take the difference, the part that's intersecting. You use it a bit with BSPs in here too. But yeah, so if we want to give this a crazy shape on the edges but not the entire thing, the logic is we'll create a shape with a crazy kind of displacement and then cut the edge out of that. Okay, so now I'm watching this tutorial to figure out where all these things are. Looks like a remesh. Or we're doing this to give the triangle some more, or we don't have a triangle, but to give it triangles. Look at those triangles. Gamers love triangles, right? Because gamers just kind of care about graphics nowadays, right? So you show them this, you show them a plane, but now this plane has like a bazillion triangles on it. That's a good game. That's a good game. You'd pay $100 for this game, right? I'm joking, it's sarcasm. I know I'm in the industry, so people might be like, oh my god, she's everything wrong with the industry. It's a joke! I want to be able to afford the games I make too. For legal reasons, that is a joke. Please! But yeah, we're adding a little more triangles to it so that way we can like make it mesh a bit better. If you are addicted to like weird videos that play under your video on TikTok, you might have seen like the number of tries videos where they'll drop like a plane onto an object like a bottle or something. It'll be like one plane and it will bounce off. 4 planes, it kind of roughly crumples up and then falls off, and then eventually you get to like the higher planes where it falls like a blanket over the object. The more tries you have, the more directions it can move around and stuff. That's why people like triangles. I'll accept that. Where was Boolean? I wasn't paying attention. These tutorials, I like look away for 1 second and I'm like, ah, oh, god, I've messed up. Okay, so I think we shift select both of them. Ah, there we go. Then model boolean. Boolean. Okay, so yeah, we want A minus B, so that means the first thing we selected minus the second thing we selected. Cut it in a little bit more. So again, like nothing too crazy, but just some stuff to give the flag like a bit of character around the top. Making sure I don't need to change any others. Output type looks good. Okay, we want to write to the first. Ah, okay, so if we were to do it right now, it would create a totally new object, but we just want to overwrite the existing rectangle that we made. Also, for reference, the tutorial I'm looking at right now, I have it on the other monitor so that I can focus a bit better, but it is by UNF Games, and it is called How to Create an Animated Flag Inside Unreal Engine 5. So shout out, tutorial credits. Kind of a reason I like Unreal is they, not only themselves do they have a bunch of free ways to learn Unreal, and Unreal is free to use, not just through Fortnite, even though that's a great access point to learn it through. But yeah, you can use full Unreal Engine 5 just from the comfort of your home, and all that. It's when you want, if you want to, you can even put out a game with it. It's when you want to monetize off of it that you start to run into like the licensing stuff, but you can use it. But yeah, there's plenty of stuff to work with. I gotta go back in the tutorial again. I blinked and now there's a second object. Okay, yeah, so they're acknowledging they want to keep it for something else, so I think I missed this. Oh yeah, keep inputs. Oh yeah, so this won't delete it after we use it then. Good. I like that there's an option for that. There's probably an option like that in Maya as well, but Maya crashed on me in college during several all-nighters, so I'm gonna pretend it doesn't have an option like that. Take notes, Maya. Okay, now I'm assuming we just do the same thing again across the other other three sides. We'll keep this main strip here fine, so that that's our like stable one connected to the post. But yeah, the top will have a little roughly. The bottom will have a little roughly as well. So Boolean again. It has the same settings that we put it to last time. That's good. That. Now I'm gonna rotate this around because I like how sharp it is on this end. I want the edge of this flag to be a little more dramatic, a little more torn up. Actually, yeah, if I stretch it out more and make it more dramatic. This flag's been through war. And we're gonna slap a cat face onto it. So yeah, it's a little there's definitely probably better actual, this isn't technically cloth simulation, right? So there's better programs for cloth simulating and stuff, probably within Unreal itself as well. If you want like those threads tearing apart type of effect. Or the old-fashioned way to do it is to make a material and have like the threads on one layer and then have it like clear and opaque behind it, type of thing. But what's cool about the tools that I'm using and like the basics of it that I'm doing, where I'm like, yeah, that's good enough and moving on, is just like level design's the in-between between tech and between art. So it does mean I don't know how to do either perfectly, but I'm able to take it from one step to another. So these, using the modeling tool like this to make something and block out that I'm like, okay, I need someone else to make a polished version of this, but just using a cube isn't good enough to get my idea across. So yeah, the modeling tool in Unreal 5 has been, I think World Partition was what they thought would be like the big game changer for level designers, but I used it on a project and like we were all just kind of annoyed by it more so than anything. It could be because it was newer, but I do prefer working with sub-levels and level streaming instead still. But World Partition's kind of more necessary for almost every game as an open world game nowadays, so it is useful to have for that instead of having levels pop in and out. Gamers don't really like, they can tell where hidden loading screens are, like the shimmy through rocks thing. That's such a clever solution, but gamers know that's a hidden loading screen now, so they're pushing for the entire world must be loaded at all times, even though that doesn't make sense. But that's what the people want. So I do want to keep, maybe we'll make something in, maybe we'll make a second like sandbox level so we're not just making Kid Icarus levels the rest of my life. So maybe we'll open up a second one and make like a more open world type area and try to get ideas on what we want that to be. But yeah, I'm happy with the flag being a little something like this. Also, the grommet mug tonight looks like he's been through just terrible things because he has, so I made a hot chocolate, right? And it is delicious. We got we got another thing of the Minecraft milk at the store. It wasn't me this time. Last time I was the initiator that did that, but this time it was my boyfriend. And the inside of the oh, you saw the inside. It looks terrible. It looks like the Minecraft green milk, it's vanilla flavored, so it actually tastes really well in a nice hot chocolate. So it does taste nice. It did not look nice when it was like mixing. I put it in the milk frother and I like took it off, and it turns out highly pigmented green dye mixed with a lot of chocolate. It looks like Shrek Swamp. Just straight up. It kind of scared me. So I think this is like I'm gonna have to let this like just fill up the sink and soak this. Grommet's in a little bit of danger. Okay, I don't think we need this anymore. Goodbye. Goodbye. Okay, looks like, oh, they went into wireframe. Oh, I thought I did something wrong. It went to black and I was like, how did I mess up going into the wireframe, bro? How? Oh, I'm so excited to curl up into bed and play Deltarune though. Ah! Works. What do we hit for this remesh? It looks like we're gonna add even more triangles. More triangles. Oh wait, that's less triangles. 1,000. We're going to add less triangles. Okay, and then we want to move the pivot point. So right now it's in the center of it. So we're going to move it. Okay, I think it auto swapped to be that way. That's nice, that's nice. Oh my gosh, look at the triangles on the rest of the map. What's going on over here? Oh, the BSPs I have. Oh wait, no, these are the jump pads. Actually, let's take a look. Let's look at the level in wireframe. This is pretty cool. This is like what you would see behind the scenes in game dev like things from like the 2000s, I feel. Like this was the cool thing to show players. To be like, you know how games are made? Triangles. Now it's like, you know how games are made? Triangles, but through nanite. Okay, looks like they're talking about adding material now. Should I? I wonder. Should I just use the I'll use the cloth material for now so we can see how it looks as a normal flag, but we will be we will be placing the RT flag on it. What was it? Cloth? Not cloth chair. It was like red. I made a red version, not cred, red. Generic fabric A red. Okay, then well, let me edit the position of, right? Yeah, the UVs. That's what I want to do. Can I scale? Yeah, we can scale it up, so let's do, it's pretty small cloth wise, Let's do 20 by 20. Nope. What did it do? Oh wait, 20 is too big. Wait, what's happening? What's happening? I think it did. It just reset that to the new standard value? I didn't want it to do that. Oh no, oh no. We reset. Oh no, cancel. It's not reset. We'll just ignore. That's why I don't like UVs, man. They stress me. Okay, yeah, they just... So it's gonna look horrible because it's just stretched cloth. I'm aware, but there. Yeah, I just want it to be a little more visible as like a quilted pattern. That'll be fine for now. And remember, we'll be replacing this with Artie's face. This does not matter at all. Or I might in screenshots keep it with a cloth on it. Maybe. What do you think would get people to look at my portfolio more, though? If there was, I feel like that's become a staple in all of my personal arenas that I do, is I have some sort of, like, block out creature or some sort of texture in, like, the corner of a screenshot that's memorable. Like, for the pumpkin patch one, there's, like, the little block out pumpkin we made and put googly eyes on with more block out spheres. And we called him Huckleberry. Very ugly, has no purpose. Has no purpose in the design, but it's charming and it shows I like to be funny. But I also like to... You can't ignore it, so it's a very clear POI in the level. So it is ironically important in that sense. Okay, we're almost 6 minutes into this 13-minute tutorial. Let's go. Okay, I think now we can save. How did he do that? How did he do that? This is a good flag. Is it just ready? Is it just ready as is? Oh wait, they're saving their level. I was gonna say, what? Go to the content browser, and then we find our flag. So let's go ahead, browse to it. We will rename you Artie Flag Mesh. That way we know it's Artie. And now we're going to, this is where the magic happens. We hit this, we right click and we hit, oh wait, we right click on the asset in here. Convert to skeletal mesh. So right now it's a static mesh, static meaning it don't move. A skeletal mesh is when you have like a skeleton up inside a rig and stuff, and that's what allows it to move around. Sure, I'm pretty sure all this will be fine. Yeah, I'm pretty sure all this will be fine. Yeah, they're saying to turn on. There is a skeletal mesh plugin tool. Mine, I think, was pretty much on automatically. But if it's not working for you, then check your plugins. And then I think we just click into it. Now we're gonna start messing with it. Though first, I'm gonna take a. It's not the milk killing me, but I'm gonna take a quick BRB. I said I'd stream for an hour. I'll stream like an hour and a half. I want to get this whole tutorial finished, and it's not that long at all. So quick BRB. I'll run a few more ads so that pre-rolls are off for the rest of it, and we're gonna put Artie in this level. So get up and stretch, everybody. Welcome back, everybody. Whoa, I now have forgotten how to do that entire tutorial. I figure it out here. So we made a little mesh, turned it into a skeletal mesh. Ooh, spooky. And now we need to start making it a bit more movable to our needs. I just realized what we're doing is we're doing rigging. Oh god. I have a fear of rigging. I never did my rigging assignment in in one of my animation classes. In fact, no one did the rigging assignment because we did the math and realized if you did all of your other assignments, then you could just you could completely skip the rigging assignment even though it was a huge chunk of your grade. If you did well enough on everything else, you didn't have to do the assignment and could still pass the class. So not only did I figure it out, but the entire class figured it out. So it ended up when we got to like the final project of that semester, it was like, okay, who's ready to rig the who's ready to like rig the skeleton? And we like looked around our group and we're like, I don't know how to rig. I didn't do that assignment. Like no one in the class had done it. And there were even some like people that wanted to do rigging in the class, right? And they were like, yeah, but I want to do it in a different thing, so I still didn't do the assignment. Or they're like, I already know how to. So I just did my own thing and submitted it. So yeah, no one had any idea what it was. To this day, I don't know if anyone does that assignment in that class. Alright, it looks like they added... So we have our root, we move that there, and then we add... Aha! We add a joint on the bottom of the flag. That's correct, that's correct. I accept that it is the joint. Now we hit skin, bind skin off of the roots. We binded it. Was that it? Was that all we did? Okay, we just do that, accept. I feel like I might need to do a little extra rigging to have some joints go out this way. We'll see how it looks. We'll see how it looks. Doing a square might be a little detrimental right now. Edit weights. So the root needs to be all white. It is, so we should be good. Yeah, root's all white, and then the joint should be all black. Okay, so we do want to edit the weights on the joint then. Oh my gosh, I have my volume cranked up. Thank you for the follow, Yints. Much appreciated. How are you today? Oh, the wrong one. Part what? Oh, the joint is not. I gotta color all of this. This is very therapeutic though. Sometimes I take my time coloring stuff like this because I'm like, adult coloring book. See, this tutorial says to paint it all black, so I'll do just that. I do feel like I want to play around and mess with it a little more, but we're just gonna follow it as is because I've done this in the past. What's something else that could be used as stairs? That is an excellent question. I'm trying to think of things I've used to like block out stairs, or things that I've blocked out that have been replaced by stairs before. I think the simple answer is just like using like debris and prop to use as stairs. That's like, we were talking about Last of Us earlier, so that's my Last of Us answer, is like just have a lot of convenient cardboard placed up against each other. My more crazy, my gamer brain that's had a bunch of Minecraft milk tonight, is like use oxygen as stairs. Just be built different. Just simply use the air. But I do enjoy in like elemental themed like visuals how like Avatar Last Airbender is a great example of and could definitely use air as stairs. But I like when elemental things just get shaped to different, like, just architectural things in general. Glass bottles. When I think of glass bottles on stairs, I think of those, like, TikTok videos where they just roll the bottles down the stairs, and I don't know why, but I get frustrated both when the bottles break in those videos and when they don't break. Cause like they're supposed to break, and I think it's like ASMR type stuff, to be like, ah, that was a good one, you know. But when they don't break, so I just get frustrated, like, oh, I didn't get like the little tingle from that. But then when they do break, all I can think of is, my god, what a waste of material. So that's what I think of when I think of glass bottles and stairs. It's just all those videos of them like crashing down them, and I'm like, where do you get all those bottles from? That's like the looting mindset I had in college, where I'm like, don't throw that away. That could be your drinking glass for the next 4 years. I'm proud to say I own dishware. We own dishware here at this apartment. Though I do like to fill the gaps with a lot of like the cheaper plastic stuff from like Target. It's like 99 cents for just a good cup. That's a good deal. Okay, I keep going back in this tutorial to make sure I didn't miss anything on this step. I don't think so. Yeah, I think once you do the edit weights, I think that's pretty much it. I think they're just chatting now. They just pulled up an entirely new window, like really quickly, casually. I think it's close. Enhance clothing. Where was that? My god, I've never even seen this tab in here. Get over here. Yeah, I mean, if you can't walk on the elements, that's a skill issue. My other level designer answer for that is ramps. Ramps are better than stairs. Ramps are better. You can break all the rules with ramps. You've got like a weird corner piece, add another ramp. Add a blocker piece. But I feel like a lot of people don't like ramps. Like, whenever I put ramps in my blockouts, the feedback is like, you're ugly, you're disgusting, we hate you, get that out of here. But I also get the same thing with stairs, so I don't know. But I like a good ramp. Now, it's easy to go too crazy with ramps in level design. It's easy to, especially for like arena design, right? You don't want to have a ramp that's too long or like too steep. Because then it is a bit more awkward to put like cover on ramps and stuff. So you might think, oh, that's a great advantage for the player, but think about the player on the other side of the ramp. It's just become the worst map in the world for them. But to be honest, ramps and stairs, especially like the more like detailed stairs are really just ramps that are different at the end of the day. For most like fast-paced games, if you've got more of like an immersive, like a Sony type game, like a Yakuza or Last of Us or Uncharted, then you know those games love to do your slow walking up the stairs animations, and that's the big difference. Is ramps are in story games and adventure games, ramps are a way to speed the player up, stairs are a way to get them to slow down and to take in the moment a bit. But in an arena, you don't want them to get caught on the stairs, so you usually will have the nav like and the collision be a ramp underneath anyway, because if you were to get caught and to slow down on the stairs in like a fast-paced like shooter environment or like a Fortnite area, you'd be a little grumpy. People would be upset. What button? Where'd this dude get this button from? Aha. Apply clothing data. I don't have that. Did I forget to make it? Create clothing data first. That's why I don't have it. Yes. This is now clothes. You can wear this. Apply clothing data. A 2-foot ramp over a little pond. Oh. That's just a nice little corner. Like a little curved bridge. Yeah, I think when I think of ramps, I think of like block out tool, like triangle ramps. But I do like more like curved bridge ramps because those are more like you get to go up and you get to go down, but then you have an opportunity to like in terms of storytelling and like linear design, you can like have something happen when they hit the top of like that bridge, or you can have like something fade away as they like cross the bottom of it, or you can do a lot of really good like set dressing because it's easy to mirror and stuff. Little Animal Crossing-esque bridges. There's something so nice about more blockout kits should have just a piece like that in them. But usually they're triangles, which is fine. I'm following a tutorial about a bunch of triangles right now, so triangles are great, especially in games, but I like the curves a lot more. Have I ever sound designed? Not professionally, no, but I was a band kid in college and I did take a music theory, like the AP music theory course my senior year. I played clarinet, saxophone, and piano for like 8 years of music. No, 7 years of music total. But I did kind of stop music when I got into college so I could focus on game development. But then my last 2 years of college I actually looped back around and I did take a sound design course. And then I did get to do some sound design work on another group's capstone project. So technically I've done a little bit of it, just not like a full sound designer type role, just kind of like basics and small sound effects and voiceover here and there. I also managed some of the handling the sound assets in our senior capstone project that we put on Steam. So a little bit of it, and I definitely have a soft spot for it. but it has been a minute since I dabbled in it. Probably when was my senior year of college now? I guess 4 years ago? Goddamn. But yeah, for a while there, I was trying to, my heart has always been drawn to level design primarily in the game design space, but sound design I have a soft spot for as well. Sound design and environment design are things that I don't think I have like the skills so much for, but definitely had the interest in. I think I used a lot of Audacity's to go. It's free, it's simple, it's to the point, but man, there's so much you can do just with messing around in Audacity. I would just record so many random things and turn them into sound effects for college projects. And then for music design, Reaper was the one I used, which technically isn't free. Every time you open it, it's like, hey, you know, if you want to support the full version, like go here, or like you have X amount of days left of, or it will be like your free trial's up as a heads up if you want to pay for it. But technically, like, it keeps warning you, and it never really shuts down the program at all. So as long as you don't intend to like fully like monetize something off of Reaper, or want to use like those like locked features, then it was pretty good too. Oh my gosh, they're putting a bunch of stuff in. I spaced out in the tutorial again. So they said we're going to paint. Here's the clothing. Activate cloth paint. Whoa! What it would sound like to walk on top of a glass bottle. There's a lot of that was what made that sound class. That was actually the last class I ever went to before COVID. That was the last in-person class I ever had. It was right before spring break, and I remember standing in the classroom. It was a small class of like just like 5 or 6 people too, and we were all friends with the professor, so we were just all standing around. I think a Smash Bros like reveal had just happened earlier in the week, or sometime close to it, and we were all like smiling at each other, and we're like, yeah, we love this class so much. I can't wait to see you guys in 2 weeks. I never saw most of those people again. They were really cool. They were really cool. I never saw them again. But yeah, that class was fun because it would be like, hey, we're gonna try to do this sound effect today, so everyone would get like really quiet, and we all had. That's actually why I got this like Blue Yeti mic. I got it when I was doing the sound design class, and I was like, well, it's gotta be a good mic for streaming at least. But we would crank the sensitivity up, and you would just do like random things like glass breaking. Like you could do something where you like crush up a candy, like a hard candy, to get a glass breaking thing. You could do a lot of stuff like just like snapping a pencil, and that's like a twig snapping in the woods for like that sort of stuff. So you can use a lot of objects and then take that sound and reimagine them as different things. That's kind of the backbone of sound design, which is really cool. God damn, make my brush a bit smaller. It's so ginormous. There we go. I think my favorite sound effect I ever recorded was I was doing like my audio final project. I wanted to work it in with like level design. So I did the standard like immersive walking horror sim, where like I had you play as a character whose like little brother got kidnapped and sucked into a game, but then you're in the real world. I think a lot of games do that now. I think the one that reminds me most of that project, it did come out after I did that project, but I never really published that project, so it definitely didn't copy, but it was very similar to Amanda the Adventurer, except you had like a relation to the kid. But I needed a sound effect of like a kid being like kidnapped. So I got my I got one of my friends, and I was like, okay, I need you to like read these lines in like a little kid voice, and then I'm not gonna tell you when, but I'm going to jump up behind you and I'm gonna put a pillow over you, and I need you to scream, and I'm gonna pull you away from the mic. And it came out really dramatic, but that was what made it fun. So yeah, the best sound effect I recorded was a kidnapping sound effect, and the best way to achieve that was to actually kidnap one of my friends to do it. Especially when I pulled him away from the mic and then put that in and gave it like actually made it a 3D sound in like an echoey like library space. It came out really fun. What made them decide to paint like that? Oh, okay, so we're gonna paint the bottom half of this. I see. We're gonna paint the bottom half of this like white. I need to make this even smaller. Bottom half of this all white. And then we have the paint value, so we can cut it down to like 50. Make this. And now I'm going to make a 75. So it kind of transitions. That might be too thick, actually. Radius of like 2 on the brush. Oh, that's too small. Ah! And also catching up on the messages. I am aware of Unreal 5. That's like the big pull for it. Typically as a level designer, I don't usually worry myself too much with it. I just know it exists, and I know environment art's always going on about it. And I'm like, that's awesome. Anyway, my cubes. But yeah, I know that's like the reason pretty much for most like big companies especially to make the jump into Unreal 5 is just the pull that Nine has. I was reading up on the state of Unreal stuff, which this project is in 5.5. 5.6 is out now. But this is in Lyra, and Lyra's been a bitch every time I've moved the project or updated it at all. So I want to check out 5.6. I'm too scared of how Lyra will behave. So maybe I might try to take a peek at it. Otherwise, we might make a separate sandbox level for checking out 5.6 and above. This project may be in too fragile of a state to make the jump. Have I heard about Arc Raiders? I've seen a lot of stuff on Arc Raiders, actually. Is that out? I forget, is that out yet or is that coming out this month? I've been very deep in the Life Sim and Nintendo and Deltarune like news stuff, because that's not only what the stuff we're streaming, but it's the stuff I'm playing off stream also. So I've been very deep down those rabbit holes, but stuff like from the state of play the other day also, I'm a little farther behind on than I usually like to be, especially for its E3 season. RIP E3. But like, I think Summer Games Fest is tomorrow, right? I think. Let me look. Which is crazy. Yeah, that shit's happening tomorrow. I should be more in tune with this stuff as a streamer and a game developer, but I remember like the first Summer Games Fest I actually watched the full thing of, there was a trailer for something I had like worked on, like AAA stuff I had worked on, and like I didn't even know they were dropping a trailer. I was watching and I was like, what? I was like, wait a minute, that looks a lot like that looks familiar. Like looking from one screen to the other, like, what? I guess the similar feeling, I'm in indie work now, so the similar feeling is whenever stuff goes up on YouTube, but I like didn't check, or like I wasn't around for like hearing when those things were going up, so I'll just be scrolling YouTube and I'll be like, that looks very familiar to me. I'm like, huh. Switch 2 released what? Today, technically. People were waiting in line at midnight. Yeah, technically today. I am the biggest Nintendo fan. I know people have stuff about the company as a whole, and they think it's like super, super evil. All corporation. I had to go through like layoffs at the start of last year and be in unemployment for like a few months. All corporations have a little bit of evilness to them, y'all. But I know Nintendo's not perfect. They've definitely done a lot of stuff, and especially business-wise, they went through the whole Wii U era, so they don't always make the best financial decisions. But without question, the developers are always cooking something, man. They're always cooking something. So I'm a huge Nintendo fan for that reason. So I've wanted a Switch 2, and I was hoping to get one since the internet's like, Switch 2's gonna bomb. Like, don't pay for the Switch 2. No one's gonna buy it. First console to ever flop. Why are all the Switch 2s gone, man? Where are they? Like, please don't buy it. Please don't buy it. For real, don't buy it. But I am in the My Nintendo thing, and I got a lot of play hours on my account, so I'm hoping sooner rather than later I'll get the invite to like purchase one. But I didn't get in the first wave, apparently. What sucks is they keep sending me emails with the titles being like really peppy and optimistic, so I'll get my hopes up. Like, I'll get an email from Nintendo, and I got the worst one was like, we have some exciting news for you, Emily, was like in the title for the email. So I quickly open it up. I'm like, oh my god, it's happening. And then it was like, we have exciting news for you, Emily, ... And I opened it up, and it's like, about one or more items on your wish list being on sale for like 5% off. It was the worst. It was the worst rug pull I've ever had. I was like, mm-hmm. Okay, looks like they actually made their point value a bit bigger. Yeah, I'm like, there's no way the Switch 2 is ever gonna bomb. Oh, is it working? Oh, it's... Now, what did I do? Oh, wait, it's lit wireframe. Maybe just lit? Maybe unlit. What the... Oh, it's because it's clipping into this thing, right? If I just, Oh, wait, what the hell's going on? Yeah, I guess, oh, we just had to lift the root up a little bit. You see, this is what I was concerned about with the joints. we're gonna do is let's try just stretching the joint, deactivate cloth. If we stretch the joint out here and then activate cloth pink, will that do it? Oh wait, is it kind of? It's kind of happening on theirs too, actually. Okay, I'll keep following the tutorial as is. It might be... I think this actually might play out fine. We actually might not want to add too much more to make it like a thicker cloth, because we're gonna rotate it so it's facing us. It's a little more vertical in the wind anyway. So I'm a level designer, let me not be picky about this. Let me not be picky. I just get anxiety about it. Where did we put that? Alright, so now we can, I guess now we can delete this out of, here. Place the flag mesh in. Ta-da! And now, the piece de resistance. Oh no, we gotta fix the UVs. Oh no. Oh, we should have done the UVs on the with the arty material, huh? Because now the UVs are off on this. Is it too late? Is it too late to... Yeah, I'm not messing with the UV editor. We'll deal with that later. Oh no. Oh no. Something went wrong. It's just his eyeball. Let's put the cloth back on for now. Generic fabric red. There we go. A week into learning how to make a game, the thought of someone being dedicated to a specific aspect of the games sound unreal. Yeah, it's definitely... So as someone that both worked like smaller indie and now is in bigger indie, but also was in AAA and AA, so I've been across like every level of like team scale and stuff. Definitely when you're starting out, it's so much information, both that you feel like you have to learn, but also that you want to learn. For a while, I just kind of wanted to do game design in general because I couldn't focus on just one aspect of it. I wanted to do more of the visual stuff. I knew it would be important to learn scripting. And then I wanted to do a little bit of sound design and stuff too, so I couldn't really pick just like one thing for like a good year into learning Unreal. But I think that's kind of why I picked level design, is because the blockout stage is my favorite stage of development, so that was the first clue that level design was for me. But the other thing is, like, I still get to work closely with art and with programming and to do a bunch of... I have to know a lot of skills to do polish work, and everyone has a different set of small skills to do different parts of polish work in level design. So I feel like level design is a good one if you like doing a bunch of things on a game anyway. Because I've gotten to touch a lot of different parts of game development through that. But yeah, it took me, I did a 4-year college program, and I didn't have a level design specific portfolio until like the end of my junior year, start of my senior year. I did not know what I wanted to do until over halfway through college. Which sounds a bit scary, but that is what college is for. You don't have to, and you probably even shouldn't, whether you're doing it through college or just starting game development up at any time. You don't have to pick something and be like, this is what I will do the rest of my life. You're supposed to kind of mess around with it and see. Okay, we need a wind directional source now. Let me hit G so that this is back in the scene again. I think, yeah, we want to have it blow towards... Yeah. Okay, we can see it move if we simulate it. Alright, so it is grouping up here, which is no good, but consider we're about to crank up the speed. No, I want to simulate. Stop it! Stop it! Faster. It can be faster. Oh, that's too fast. That's too fast. Oh, jeez. Salute. Turn it down a bit. Though I do like the windier part of it. Now, is that gonna affect the? Okay, it's like really just up here, so foliage will be. They're down here shooting. Yeah, I do want it to be a bit windier. Why is this not? Is this material not two-sided? Is that what it is? I swear I thought the fabric material would be. It's not too. Okay. It is now. I don't know why a fabric material wasn't. Yeah, I wanna. If you have a blanket, you're not gonna like tuck yourself into bed and be able to see through the. Huh. Oh, character design is. If I was an artist. Actually, if I was an artist, I'd want to do like landscape pieces, actually. But character design was something I'm fascinated with because I had like 3 friends in college that did character design. In fact, our mod and our emote artist Patui, so she did all the emotes on my channel, and she and I were roomies in college and besties. So she has a really successful art Twitch and stuff. But yeah, she specializes in character design, so it was really cool to be around that. And then my boyfriend is also an artist, so I get to see him draw and create things, and I'm like, how are you doing that? How are you doing that? But yeah, I think the closest I can get to ever doing, it's definitely, this isn't maybe the best example, but closest I could ever get to like visualizing something in my head and hoping to have the skills to translate it one day would be like environment pieces, I think. Character art's like, I don't have a steady hand to do it, I think, and I can't see. I have like a lot of ideas for what to do with a character design, and I double majored into animation so I can recognize good do's and don'ts, but I miss that like application for myself to be able to do it. But that just makes me respect the craft even more. The fact that I've studied it and I'm like, huh, I still don't know what's going on. Makes me respect it. Do as much as you can as a solo dev, then break off those pieces that you have to other devs. Yeah, that's a good thing to do, is to make a prototype. That's kind of the way a lot of indie prototypes work, is that you'll make kind of Depends how far you want to take it, either to make something small and have it be like something you pitch to a lot of people early on so they can have more input, or if you want to make a fully playable little prototype that does the basics of everything, but there's some things you want people to come in and like enhance. Like as a level designer in my case, like something like this, if this was my original idea for an arena, but I wanted to bring in people to make it into a full like little game, then I would be looking for like a programmer and someone with like multiplayer combat experience as well, and I'd be like, hey, these are the templates I'm using, these are the really janky scripting pieces I put in to make it work for myself, but it's not optimized and it won't work on release for people, so what can you do to take this and turn it into an idea? So having a prototype is good for that. Something like this, I could show to art and they'd be like, my god, this is ugly, but I get what you're going for, so I can come in and help. So hitting that prototype stage is definitely really solid, and it's no small feat either. It sounds like just throwing together a bunch of small things, but you have to learn a deliverable part of every single craft needed to make a game. You have to learn a little bit of each of those to even like build something in the first place, so it is definitely a big accomplishment. And it works really well to get more voices involved as well. So I highly recommend that route. This flag's pretty nice. I do want to, maybe we could speedrun, do we speedrun duplicating the let's rename this asset actually, just to, let's stop it now. But I like how this looks. That came out really nice. Let's rename the asset itself from arty flag mesh just to red flag mesh, so we know it works with the red one. Do the same here, and then we're going to make an RT flag mesh. We're gonna speedrun what we know from that tutorial. Oh wait, I have the skeleton and I have the, oh my gosh, I have a lot of stuff going on in here. Okay, we're gonna run it back. This is what we used to. Okay, so I believe we take this. Let's edit it in the modeling tool again. Give me them UVs, transform UVs. So let's grab the RT material. He's glorious. Why? No, why? Why? Why won't you accept him? Oh, there we go. He's fine. He's fine. We got to scale him down properly. Oh, he's upside down. He's upside down. If we squashed his face, that'd be funner. It's just, oh, we stretch him a little bit. Oh my gosh, that's a good man's. Do you ever have other artists kind of have a layout or idea they have and you have to make it real when working in the industry? I know in my case, I definitely like to work with environment artists really closely. So the thing about like level design, and when you're especially like on bigger teams, so you'll have the level designer, that's me, you'll have the technical designer making like the tech stuff, and then you'll have the environment artist that does like the actual making the art pretty. But a lot of times I will want to meet with them like early on, so like I'll want to meet with them during the concept stages and stuff too, and be like, this is like the theming I'm thinking of for this level, this is like the layout ideas I have, but I'll be like, is there something you want to do in this level that I can like block out, or I can see, like I even like had something where it's like, hey, I have this really cool art idea, is there a spot for it in the layout? And I was able to be like, yeah, I think this corner of the map actually would really benefit from having that kind of like art visual pop in there. And sometimes art will come to me and be like, hey, we don't have a piece that meets this part of the layout. Do we need to make a brand new one, or is there a way we can revise it? So the answer to that depends on where we are in the schedule, of course, but yeah, I try to make it an equal balance and an equal conversation, because I'm coming to them with a lot of ideas and a lot of stuff to be like, oh, it would be cool to put something here for this POI, it would be cool, we need to have like the paths this wide for enemies to be here. So I'm coming to them with a lot of requests and stuff, but I want them to also equally feel like they have creative say and not just like doing everything I like tell them to as the designer, but I want them to come in and be like, this is an art piece of mine, what can I do to put my creativity in there? But it is also a balance of like, it does still have to be playable. Sometimes that's something you could run into, whether you're doing your first art pass or you're working with someone else, is the focus will be on making it so pretty that the level will become unplayable. Stuff won't have collision, stuff will have too much collision, paths will get blocked, paths will get deleted. So if you focus too much on only making it pretty, it will stop being a game experience entirely. So that's why I've always liked the dynamic of having a dedicated level designer on a level and having a dedicated environment artist on a level, is so you can bounce ideas back and forth and be there throughout the entire process, not just come in and out. Yeah, that's me personally, and that's like, I know it's easy to say on like job things like, yeah, I like teamwork and I like collaboration, but I think especially when working with your tech people and your environment artists that are going to be touching the map just as much as you will be at different points, I like to have those conversations earlier. And then yeah, we actually, the first game designer credit I have is on a little project called Sonata Theory on Steam. It's free, it's very unoptimized because I was the only game designer on it. So it's very unoptimized, but it is very beautiful. Because yeah, we had 3 character artists on the team, right? So we had a lot of 2D art, but being a 3D level designer primarily, it's kind of like a Dollhouse Paper Mario fixed camera. So you have 2D characters walking around a 3D space, which I think a lot of people in our college class never played Paper Mario, because all the feedback we always got on our stuff was, this looks unfinished, like when are the characters gonna be 3D? And we're like, they're not. If they were 3D, they would be ugly because none of us can model in 3D. We're like, they're not gonna be 3D. They're gonna be 2D in a 3D space because that is where all of our skills will shine the brightest. So, yeah, we all worked on that, and then we all went on to our careers afterwards. But yeah, it was nice that we got to a lot of the people, like pretty much all of the capstones when we started, everyone was like, yeah, everyone's goal is to publish on Steam. But I think we were one of the only ones that class year, and since the program was still pretty new, one of the only ones at the beginning to like actually successfully release on Steam. We technically wrapped up development like right before graduation. I made a build and I was like, okay, that's the last heavy editing I want to do to this project. GG everyone. If it's your first game on Steam though, it took 2 months to get it up. It took like a month waiting for different things to be approved, like week to week, and then it took another month actually integrating some like learning how to do achievements, learning like getting all the advertising. Like there's some mandatory like thumbnails, trailers, and promotional materials you need to have to even upload to Steam in the first place. And then once you do all that, you're hit with another time period to wait. So it could be different now. This was 4 years ago, but from the end of main development to the actual release date, it was a full 2 months. Yeah, let me pull up the link actually. I'll find the Steam link. Sonata Theory. It doesn't show up when I just search it because the actual musical term shows up. Sonata Theory Steam, it does show up though. It shows up as very positive because I also like, I need to check it actually since it's finals season for college. I do think they talk about it, the project, every time final season rolls around, because I notice at the end of college semesters, the reviews and like the amount of times played like goes up. At the end of every college semester, I think people take a look at it. And some people are honest, they're like, yeah, since it's free, it's good, but like, it's definitely not, it's like a game prototype that's cool, but definitely nothing. They're like, well, you wouldn't really pay money for it, and it is very unoptimized, because, again, on my fault, and stuff. But there's a lot of witty dialogue, because it was me and my friends writing it in, like, the middle of the night. There's a lot of witty dialogue, like I said, it is very beautiful, and there are a lot of creative puzzles. Kind of what I did, and I'm still very proud of design-wise, is you can play the game. You have like magical powers, but they come at a cost, and we try to warn you about that through the dialogue. So there's branching endings, there's 2 main endings and 4 secret ones. And then those endings are based on a final choice you make at the end, and whether you choose to use magic throughout the majority of your run, or whether you choose not to use any magic, and you advance through like conversations with people and being friendly and picking correct dialogue options. And if you don't do that, then you might have to resort on using your magic and forcing your way through the story. So that was the vibe we were going for, and I think we ended up getting it. At least when I look back at the design docs, I feel pretty proud of those systems. So that's what I wanted to pull from it for my portfolio, and I achieved that. The art was able to help all the artists out a lot, and the producing stuff helped out our producer on the project, so it was good for all of us. You have no idea about publishing on Steam. Yeah, it uses a thing called Steamworks, so those were like the tutorial videos I was watching. Honestly, it was simultaneously a lot easier than I thought it would be, but there's also just a lot of small steps that hold up the process. I'll be like, wow, that was easy. I just like had to fill out a form that was so simple even I could understand it, right? And I would be like, wow, that was really nice. And then I would like look at the next thing and I'd be like, oh, well, now I have to wait like a week for that to be reviewed before I can move on. So kind of that was what the experience was like, but maybe they've sped it up over the past few years. I would only hope so. Can I save this as, yeah, browse the asset. Oh wait, I just edited this. Well wait, will that... Can I make a skeletal match off of this now? So now we're going to rename this flag mesh Archie. Okay, now how did we do this again? Time to run it back one more time. I think what we did first was create clothing data. We're seeing if I actually paid attention to the tutorial now, which is a terrifying thought. We moved the root up here, I remember. Not like that. Not like that. Edit skeleton. We moved the root up here. And then we added Oh no, that is off the grid very much so. Stretch it out a little more so it hits the other pieces too, and that should be, I think that's all we did for the joint, except, and then we were checking the weights, right? Oh my gosh, it's like slightly off. I gotta move it again. That's gonna bother me. God. Just like that, right there, right there. Just boop. That's good, that's good. Edit weights. Okay, so the root should be all white. Joint is all black. That actually ended up entirely correct. Wow. We'll download on the PC later and leave a review. Well, thank you so much. It's nice to see it still getting some hits on Steam. Again, it's been almost 4 years. And actually every year around its anniversary, I tend to do a stream, both. I still have the... Oh my god, what is that doing there? I tend to do streams around the anniversary, just talking about the actual development process and pulling up the original Unreal file for it. So it was... I'll probably do it... I will be out for a couple weekends in July, but I'll probably do that stream around the middle or the end of July on the weekend. We usually play through the game, get a different ending than whatever one we got the last year. And then I open up the original Unreal 4 files and yap about the dialogue system, and the level design process. And my favorite thing to look at actually is the original prototype for the game is a completely separate map from like any of the maps later in the game. It might be a completely separate Unreal file actually, but I was trying out a bunch of different things. So there's like a bunch of like the concept art for the characters poorly cut out by me, but the concepts by my friends, right? So we have those. They're in like 3D asset, like definitely not the same art style we ended up going with, but like I had a schoolhouse set for a previous prototype that I used, and I built it like an actual dollhouse in the prototype so that you could like see into it in the editor easier as well, to get the full idea. And then I used some Paper Mario assets in that prototype as well. And then I had some like SpongeBob clips in there to test like cutscenes playing and stuff, pre-rendered cutscenes. So that prototype was actually really fun, and the big thing other than like getting the camera to work and the sprite working in the 3D space, the other big thing was the switching between the real world and the fake world. So I was able to get that working, and that prototype took a week for everybody. I made the entire like design and I did everything in the actual Unreal file. I did all of that in a week, and then all of the art and all of like the narrative and design ideas like that came from the rest of the team, they all did that in a week as well. Like we were so excited to work on our first like full game. If you told me like, yeah, you just whip up a prototype for something in a week, like if you gave that to me as an order, I would be devastated. I would be sick. I would throw up. But it is really fun when you are genuinely super inspired by something. It's kind of crazy how quickly you can put out like a full build of something and I had to learn a bunch of new things for that prototype, and I did it all so quickly because we were just so excited. And I am dedicated to Unreal Engine. Yeah, I've used a few variations of Unreal Engine professionally, and I have used Unity before in college as well, but I grew up on my game dev career grew on Unreal Engine 4, which is still something I use a lot to this day. Is just Unreal Engine 4 has my heart, but Unreal Engine 5 here I do love as well. I think the reason I love them, Unreal so much is not only how easy it is to access being free and a bunch of assets being free and educational resources being free, but yeah, it's also just the fact that I think it's the visual scripting. Like, I cannot program to save my life. Actually, I took a few programming courses in college and I was actually really sad about it, because originally I thought you had to know how to program to make games like freshman year. So when I wasn't doing well in programming courses, it broke my heart because I'm like, do I have to switch majors? Do I have to drop out? Like, I don't think I can do this. And I was like really shaken up and devastated by it. But then once I started learning Unreal Engine sophomore year, it was a complete game changer for me. And part of the reason I was so dedicated to we have to put Sonata Theory on Steam was like I knew being the game designer on it and not being able to program was going to hurt it optimization and design wise. But I was like, I need to prove that you don't need to be a programming expert to be able to make a game nowadays. That was like a big thing for me. I was like, I have something to say with this that I had to prove to myself and to like everyone else that yeah, you don't have to be a programming expert to make a game anymore. You do still have to be open to learn a lot of stuff. Like, you do still have to put in a ton of work. It's not easy. But being able to visually script with the blueprints in Unreal allows me to make games on my own, and it allows me to, as much as I hate to say it in my career, because I do love layout design, but being able to script has actually elevated what I've been able to do on every single project I've ever been on. Even though I've never been making the systems or something, because then I would be kicked out of the industry for sure, but especially when it comes down to like polish time for something, or like when tasks are getting scrambled around, it's like we need somebody to step in and take a look at this, being able to say like, it's not my specialty, but I can do that. I wouldn't be able to say that if it were coding for me, but whenever it's in Unreal and it's blueprint based, I'm like, I can take a look at that. I can see if something's looks wrong or compiling wrong, if something's missing. I know the basics of it and I know what to look for. That is huge. So I'm I'm always open to learning other engines, and have worked with a few others and a few variations, but Unreal does have my heart, especially for all our streaming stuff, since I just want to relax at the end of the workday. Unreal's my baby for that. Alright, we've got the flag working again, it looks like. I can't believe we spent like an extra half an hour just because I want, even though this flag is perfect now and the one we're probably going to use, I want to have a oh, we could put the arty variant like over here in the crumbled area. Or maybe I could, ooh, maybe long term I could set up something that's like switches depending on which team is in the area. That's a long term gameplay goal, but I'd want the flags to have functionality if I could figure that out. Let's put him up here. Get rid of him there. Oh, I put him in the tower. Get him. Hello? Come back. Where is my gato? Ah, look at that man's. Look at that man's. Oh, we need to make him two-sided as well. My bad. Oh. Can my computer handle a two-sided cat picture? It better. Ooh. Oh, he's magnificent. Let's... I'm not even gonna connect it to the flag. Let's just move him over here for a moment. Okay, I forget if I had to do anything else. So let's just simulate and see how he does. Oh, that's right. I cranked the wind up a bit. But we didn't crank it up in here. I think we had speed up to like, or strength up a bit, and then speed was quite high. Not that high. Not that high. Oh my goodness. Wait, let me find a good value in here. A little slower, a little slower. Maybe we'll turn down strength a little bit more. Maybe strength. We'll turn strength up. Now we'll turn strength down. Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. That's the flag right there. That's beautiful. I'm glad. I was gonna just do this for an hour. It's been 2 hours. I'm glad though. This was a perfect use of my time. I learned a lot today. I really did. And again, my boyfriend's an actual environment artist, so I don't think he knew I was doing this tonight. Should I show him and be like, look, I'm gonna take your job. Behold. Though this is both our like sandbox go-to texture. He has this same texture in his sandbox levels in Unreal. Like he was doing a wall tiling texture, and I like looked and like he had made the picture really small in the UVs, so it like looked like a really nice wallpaper, but when you squinted at it, it was this exact face. Imagine that in your home, just across the wall. Like it looks like a flower wallpaper, but each flower, the center of it, is this goobus. And that's the cool thing about game development. You could do this. You could do this right now. Take a picture, take the closest picture you can of your cat and just drop that into Unreal. It will turn it into a texture, turn that texture into material, slap it onto something. You've made a video game. Ship it. Oh, that's it. This gotta be the thumbnail, right? That's magnificent. It's beautiful. Okay, we're still simulating, right? Okay, so we have the settings of... Actually, I copy all properties, and now stop, and paste all properties. Actually, we'll have the arty one be the main one, but I do want to put this flag up somewhere. I think, yeah, having an opposite one over here would be cool. We got the default team, and then we've got the cool team. Though this is just a broom, and that will be very apparent in here. Okay, a little smaller. make sure the wind is playing across the entire map and not just there. Yep. Oh. Oh, he's beautiful. The regular flag's really nice too, and the one that you would use in a setting like this. Look at that. That's beautiful. I've done all I need to do. This is some of the best work we've done on stream all year. I know we've like blocked out these 2 levels from Kid Icarus entirely, and we've done structural art passes on both of them, and we have combat working on both of them. But this RD flag, that's real shit. That's real life. My parents are gonna watch this video because I'm gonna put RD in the thumbnail, so they're gonna click on it, so hello. If you're still watching, hello. This is what I do for work. This is what I do for my career, if you're curious. Why is he tilted like that? Good. Get in. But yeah. That's where I have to end it, folks. That we're not gonna get a better ending point than that. But yeah, thank you all for hanging out with me. VOD watchers, I hope you enjoyed this. As usual with game dev streams, I always say I'm gonna stream for X amount of time, and then it's always double the amount. But this was clearly a good use of time. So game dev streams are back on the menu. We took a brief pause for Fantasy Life. But they are back on Thursday evenings for now. If we want to change that weekday night again, we might. But I am planning on starting a 3rd Kid Icarus Arena blockout sometime at the end of July. Now I was thinking the start of July, but I kind of want to do a few more chill streams like this, where we just do one-offs, either following a tutorial or focusing on like a smaller polish item, just to kind of relax a little bit over the next like month. It's summertime. I just want to ramp down after work anyway, so these are going to be a little bit more chill, and then we might start the next block out on a weekend stream actually, so that we can hype it up a bit more before falling into more of like the polishing combat phases of that. But yeah, more arena stuff coming soon. We will be going back to the Fortnite Tycoon setting near the fall and the end of the year to revise our Oz Tycoon map that we did in Fortnite Creative. We'll be making a 2.0 version later this year, but for the summer, I want to focus on more things like this. So, more of this next Thursday. And then our next stream, our weekend streams, currently I will be out on Saturday for a family party, but I should be back on Sunday, and we are going to play more Fantasy Life I. That is my cat's food. That means it's 11. But we will play more Fantasy Life I. We'll play more of that the following weekend, and of course on Wednesday as well. And then we are also going to jump back into The Sims 1 on Monday. So that's our current weekly lineup. But thank you all for hanging out. I'll swap us to the credits screen, and I'll see you all on the next one. Take care, everybody.